Well, it has been a very long time since I have done this. Want to give a great big shout out to Amal for sending in a suggestion for this video. I also want to apologize for how long it has taken to actually get this video published. This has been a little bit of a nightmare situation on a couple of different levels, but that's not why we're here. Today we're in the H145 by Hype Performance Group in the Philippines version of it, and we're going to be diving into the Hype Operations Center and what is possible. Now, we're going to actually do a just rescue custom plan scenario. And right now I am down at the Panama Canal area, so we can zoom into that on the map. And I believe I should be tucked into this little spot down here, and we're just going to come in and choose a start location of around here. And as far as hospitals go around here, I will honestly say that I'm not too sure, but I'm confident we'll be able to find at least one helipad around town. We might. Let's see what we can find over here. There are several different ways that you can go about this. If you would like, what you could do is actually go inside of the helicopter. Again, we'll pop back in, we'll get inside of our map, and we can zoom out of this and get an idea of where there are some applicable hospitals. So if we come into downtown Panama here, we'll take that off. We'll zoom in a little bit and get an idea of where this is, what it's called. San Tomas, which is interesting because my name's Tom, so that works out pretty well. So there is San Tomas. Now if we come back into the Hype Ops Center, we should see the San Tomas. It's going to be this one right here. There's the helipad, so we can put our hospital landing site right here. And for this mission, let's go ahead and try to set up something not too far away, but far enough away from both our origin and our hospital. I noticed that if you do keep these things a little too close to the base, they tend to just wind up not working out as perfectly as they could. We'll put an ambulance and a fire truck on the road right here just to give you guys an idea of what else you can do with this. You can have the lights on or off, turn them into flashing. If you want, you can change the direction of it. You can also type these in here, by yourself if you like, just kind of write them in. Go into the other object, and you can find things like car accidents, tankers, props like tents, campfires, things like that, waving civilians, water cans, all kinds of good stuff, both for the water and the land. And let's go ahead and let's throw just a little car accident in the mix here. How about this one? And we'll put it in here. Now, as you do this, what you'll see is you have to kind of go back and do something that I wish Microsoft would do in their base sim, which would be to verify what it looks like before you actually go live with it. So what we're going to do is now we'll go into the helicopter, and in the mission library, we're going to connect to Scenario Editor on PC. That's going to be connected. I can bring the Scenario Editor back up and save it. And we're going to call this one Panama 1. Why not? Car accident. And what you can also do is export these and share them, which is something that I would like to see if it would be possible, if I could dive into a little bit. Given how things have been going lately, though, the time is not really abundant at this point. But we'll go ahead and close the Ops Center. We'll come back in and we'll check the mission brief right there. In the map, we'll zoom back out. And now you can see that we have a destination. We have our aircraft park, and we're going to make sure that we get over there as quick as possible. So let's go ahead and get this party started. And this comes with several different variants. So the one that I'm in right now, the 145 in the Philippines version, this one actually has seats in the back instead of an area for a stretcher. So this one still goes through the same version of the graphics. When you do pick up a survivor on the ground, they're still opening up the back doors and sliding a stretcher in, which is a little weird. But all of the versions pretty much are capable of doing the same thing, except for the firefighting version. Military version, obviously different. But you can create missions for each one of those versions within the game. And I could spend a lot of time going through just how many things you can create with this. It's actually pretty spectacular. If you guys have any questions about this or any other products that Hype comes out with, just let me know. Obviously, I do have a link to the Hype Performance Group's website down below. Not an affiliate. They're not getting, little stipends on the side or anything like that. This is all just something that I use, and that's the only thing I really ever promote is something that I personally use. And I believe in this product. I think it's pretty fantastic, and it's getting better with time. Fully working autopilot within this aircraft as well. So if I want to set my altitude and heading right now, I am completely hands off with this aircraft. Back up. I could even hit the navigation button and it is going to fly via the current mission's heading. I think this is the most intuitive aircraft so far as helicopters goes. I have stayed as far away from Sim Update 2 beta as far as I can. I've heard a lot of just ridiculous stories about it. So that's not something I'm doing whatsoever. I did just reach the 400 mark for my pilot level within career mode, which was a pretty good milestone, I think, as well. But unfortunately, that hasn't been done in Search and Rescue whatsoever because, again, all of the Search and Rescue missions that are there are just beyond redundant. And there's not enough of them. It gets really tiresome doing the same mission over and over and over again, which is why I'm migrating now to the 145 by Hype once again. Let's go ahead and take the autopilot off. We'll center our aircraft on the map. We'll start to get an idea where in Panama this accident took place. The graphics are looking especially nice today. Let's see what our frame rate comes out to be. 27, not too great. Not too bad though. Still above 24. I have not done the bridge with my graphics card yet, so I still am only running the 2080 Ti on a Threadripper 2950X. Do have 128 gigabytes of RAM though, so I believe that's actually what's helping my system out the most. Let's go ahead and start to get a descent in here. believe I have a visual on the ambulance and fire truck. And this is what I kind of mean about checking out your work before you publish it, right? So now what I can do with this is once we get on the ground and I'm in a safe location, or if you're over water, you can sort of alter your creation with the mission and make it work. Oh, I'm coming down super hard. What? And this is something that I cannot stand about this aircraft. It comes back into an autopilot hover in an oscillation that you can't get out of. At least not easily. If I set it down on the ground, there's a chance that it recovers, but I don't know if you guys have seen this on the channel before, but this is something that happens with this aircraft anytime you go in and out of a menu. And even though I said it has been getting better with time, this is one thing that just hasn't gotten fixed at all. I'm going to see if I can put it down. I can't believe it's actually even this close to coming down. It's probably just going to crash again. Nope, we got her down. Still jumping around. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see what happens if we shut the engines down, if I can. Well, so our rescue guy did get out. I can actually get out with him. Go for a little walk. Gotta remember that we did come down a little ways away from our accident, getting hit by some traffic. Just going to take a little walk. We are a little far away, but I think we'll actually be able to get control over the helicopter again. But like I said, now that we are on the ground and looking at this, we can get a really good idea of what is going on. So if we get back in the aircraft and then go into the view where we can sort of look around us and we can come over this accident and we can clean up what this looks like. So there's our wrecked car. I don't see the survivor anywhere. Oh, there he is. All right, so let's bring it up. We're going to bring up the ops center, and we can clean this up now. I can even move this, into something a little bit smaller. Well, wait. Let's go like this and like this again. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. So now what I can do is actually come into this and say, all right, well, I want to have my pieces a little bit closer together. So now I can just move where all of these are. I can see that the accident, I'm going to bring a little bit closer to my person. I'm going to bring the fire truck and the ambulance closer to the person, and I can just save the changes. It's going to blip out and come back. I think I can still move things a little bit closer here. Get this guy moved in. We can zoom in a little bit. Let's get our injured person a lot closer to the car right here. We'll take this ambulance, put him a little closer, maybe turn him to the left a little bit. Let's save on that. See what that looks like. Much better. That'll work. So now as I'm doing that, what's happening is every single time that mission resets, since I'm on the ground with my aircraft, my crew basically like resets. So you can try that mission over and over and over again, and that'll continuously happen within the editor. And even if I want to go to just a completely different mission right now, absolutely possible. So I like that one. Let's go ahead and move on. So what I can do first is just get back into the aircraft. And inside of this, we can go and get the autopilot off, come into the mission and abort. We'll do the X right there. Then I like to come back in and then do the refresh one more time. And we'll go back into the mission editor. And now we'll go back to the home. Let's try something a little bit different completely. So inside of the mission editor, you can see that there are a ton of options: civilian and VIP transport, military ops, helicopter EMS services, aerial firefighting offshore, and some dev tools. Let's try some of the aerial firefighting. So what that's going to require is a different aircraft. So we're going to come out of this, go back to the main menu. Let's just end the flight. And instead of the offshore variant of this, let's configure the 145. To the California Fire. Now it does say no HMD. And I honestly couldn't tell you what HMD is. Heads up display maybe? I don't know. Either way, we'll go back to the same airport with a different mission set and see what it looks like to create a fire rescue mission. And we're just going to take off from right here as a departure. We'll get that bad boy off the ground. While that loads up, we're going to check out this one right here because it says multiplayer compatible. So this is an option that we also would love to test with more people that have the H145. I think it would be a lot of fun to create missions, share missions, and then make those something that we could get together on for our free flight missions. We'll put a start location here again. It shouldn't really matter too much at this point. We're going to put a fire in. Let's see. We don't want to go too far away, but let's see here. I also want to go somewhere near water. What do you say we go put this building right here on fire? We'll put 2 little fires down there. And that should be all that we need. We have a start location and 2 fires to put out. We can save the changes. We can go ready to fly. Once the aircraft loads in, got a fuel check. Everything looks good on that end. We can check the options of the aircraft, what our equipment looks like. There is the external tank underneath. Put a second landing light down there too. Maybe a little wire safety protection system all the way around. That looks good. And on the map, once again, we'll come into the mission library, connect it to the editor. X out of that and see if it's remembered that this is a fire mission or if I have to go back in and save again. A lot of the times I'll have to go back in and save again. So we can just go to edit, save changes, close that up. And now it is setting up the mission. There's our Bambi bucket. And we are off and running. Now for these, I have not yet perfected flying these from inside the cockpit. But the graphics between this and the career mode are pretty great. I think I would go with this above career mode because, again, H145 by Hype is just, it's a phenomenal chopper. And I don't have to do the whole taxi and hold short. And I'm probably every 10 minutes I could create a mission if I wanted to. You know what I mean? These could be done very quickly. You can see the smoke off in the distance. Oh, one thing I don't know is if I have a bucket release button mapped just yet. However, there should be. Uh-oh. Didn't think about that, did you? And if I do have to exit and go back, which I'm probably going to have to, let's see if I have it mapped. Poorly prepared for this one. I think the vortex ring state may also still be on, which is why I'm falling out of the sky like this. Now I only dipped that in the water for a little bit, and there's only a little bit of water in it. So it does not look, see, you can actually see the bucket icon in the lower right hand corner here, how full it is. I am curious. So on the controller, on my collective here, I do see a button that says Dump Bambi. However, when I'm left clicking with my mouse, it does not activate it. So the button here on the collective that says Dump Bambi is unfortunately not active. See, every other button that you can interact with has that blue quality when you touch it. Highly unfortunate. So I think what we may have to do, and again, I apologize for not doing this in advance. It has been a hell of a week. And I don't want to do this while I'm in the air. So we are going to find a spot to land here real quick. While the city burns down. With a full Bambi bucket. It's coming clean out of the sky again. It's probably gonna. Oh. Rough. All right. So now in the settings. Controls, H145. I want this to be on my controller here. I want the input to be here. I don't need a quick reply in this chopper. So I can actually disconnect that and look for something like Bambi. I have no idea what the key binding for this is just yet. What makes sense? Anybody have any ideas? Dump. Toggle fuel dump. That's an interesting thing I haven't seen before. Pressure dumps, right? No. So inside of the missions, I believe liquid drop systems is an option, and it's only here for spray. So let's see what happens if I use toggle spray. It's a weird animation where it just pops off the ground. The toggle spray is not the one. Water. So if it's got to be a toggle. Interesting. I like how everything is capitalized except for the active pause. Like, there's so many just minuscule things like that that really irritate the hell out of me with this simulator. It's like, here's another one, toggle basic control panel. Like, everything else is capitalized. We have two that aren't. There's literally nothing consistent about the simulator. Where would this be? Spray, speaker, pushback. Cameras. So, I think what I might be able to do to get around the issue is in the home screen, there is actually, I believe I have it pulled up already, the high performance group, and you can come in and they have user guides. So within this, it tells you literally everything you need to know about where you would get the Bambi bucket, right? So if you know computers at all, I can just do a kind of a control F. See if I can find the word Bambi in there, and there's nothing about it here. Change log, download cache, installation, install package, user guide, activation trouble. Close that. Missions 160, mission system H145. I don't want to install it. User guide. Status icons, Bambi bucket. So it is the H145M weapons primary key binding. activation. So fire primary. So now we need to get to the key bindings. H145. So let's see. Fire primary. Toggle yaw damper. Right there. So toggle yaw damper. But it only says on military version. Okay, but it did say that in the other one, so we're going to go with it. Toggle yaw damper. So now in here, yaw damper. We'll put that here. We'll go in and make sure that it doesn't have the duplicate of the spray. Take that off. Go back. Save. And now we should have Bambi bucket release. And we do. That is a press and hold. So every time I press the button, I actually can hold it down and let go of a little water at a time, or I can just continuously hold the button down. There we go. Now we can dump water on our fire here once we get another bucket full. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. Always nice when you can solve a problem on the fly. Pun intended. I love the swing of the bucket. Like, hey. That should do it. There we go. Just like that, our fire is out. Inside of our mission set here. Go back into the map. We have submit report for the success of a mission. Just created another one. 2 missions of a completely different variety, made and executed within minutes. No ATC interference, no nonsense. I absolutely love it. Wow, using the streaming software at the same time as the simulator it violently impacts what's happening for this simulator for me. I don't know if it's coming through in the stream, but it's pretty stuttery at times. That background seems to be doing worse than the foreground, which is odd. But very, very easy to create and fly these missions. You won't see my animations without that helicopter. Yeah, so if you don't have the same 145 and we're both in a free flight together, they will look probably like the Bell or the 125, something like that. Wow, that plane just came out of nowhere. I have no idea. All right, sure. But there we go. California fire coming in. a homemade mission. Come back in, we can go back into the mission editor and see what other kind of options there are. You see that I have quite a few of these saved already. Transport, pickups, and drop-offs, civilian and VIP, military operations. That's a good question. Transport and pickup zones, I think, is something we might want to try, like a different kind of sling load. All right, so let's see if we can actually pick up different objects, because we know that the cargo missions within the career mode wind up being just garbage. So let's see if we can do a transport pickup. And I believe the way to do that is with the military variant of this chopper. So we're going to come out one more time, we're going to end this flight, and we're going to hop into the Little Bird. So let's configure this time to military. And I'm pretty sure that's the only livery really that it comes. Oh, no, there are more, but they all look the exact same if you ask me. So yeah, we'll just stick with the original. Oh, you're not even seeing the animations. Okay, yeah, I would assume that would be the case too, because we're kind of in different platforms. You know, I'm kind of using a third-party plugin that you don't have, so all of those animations wouldn't even really be available for you until you have the same helicopter. But once we get into this, I'll show you something else that's really cool about this. Is that fold-out iPad that's in the 145 also has an option to enable multi-cockpit. I'd be very curious to see how we could get that done. If there's anybody else there that has another 145, I would be very curious to see how that goes, sharing a cockpit, if that functionality that they say is available is operable. I might want to put an airport in there. I'm just sitting here looking at the map like, when is it going to load? Hilarious. It's super easy to create these missions, though. That's the best part of it for me. And they're customizable. You know, you can go back and change where things are, make the missions as most difficult as you want. Like I've done some on Reunion Island that are just tucked really down in there. Ace, I'm in Panama. Right by the Panama Canal. Come into the EFB here. Airport is Mike Papa, Mike Golf. So go back into the mission editor and let's try to plan a scenario for like a cargo mission. Start location, I think. So we'll say pickup zone is going to be like here. Drop off zone. I know for a fact that there are a ton of helipads. So we'll call a drop-off zone out here. And let's see, let's bring this off for a second. We can bring our EFB down, connect with the maps, go into the mission library, connect to the scenario editor. Close the map. I'm going to resave it. That should update. Now, one thing I didn't do is put an object down, and I did that on purpose because I want to see whether or not it actually automatically puts something on the ground for me to pick up, or if I have to be the one. Coming off of the beta, awesome. So I do see smoke coming off the ground, if you want to call it smoke. It's these wire mesh looking objects. Very weird. Even if you turn them off on the fold-out iPad, they stay there. And from where I'm sitting, it does not look like an object has been put down. It also just says land and place engines to idle. So this isn't necessarily like a cargo hook mission. This is more like just transporting an object. However, there's a few things I want to investigate here with this. Get the helicopter down. So, inside of our iPad, in the aircraft, not the settings, equipment, external hook isn't an option. Interesting. Okay. So which aircraft does have an external hook? We'll come into the 145. Configure. Civilian cargo. So I'm going to have to guess that this one would have a hook available, only one livery. I didn't see any equipment underneath it. Let's see what happens inside the aircraft. While we get this pilot another cup of coffee. We got Ace joining us too. Whenever it hangs on these installs like this, I'm always like, did my computer just freeze? So it does have a hook icon, and now in the upper left-hand corner here, external hook is an option. So let's see what we get now. If if I come back into missions and maps, let's even do one step further. We're going to come in and go to our pickup location up here. We're going to edit this and choose another option. And let's say cargo crate and drop that in right there. And save the changes. So now we can go to mission library. I might have to save those one more time. I should have come to the connect first. Yeah. There we go. It does put the object into the mix. I like it. Land and place the engines on idle. It still wants you to land, though. I wonder if it gives you the option like the search and rescue missions does, where it says switch to hoist. Alright, so first of all, I don't even see the object. Let's do this. I am going to hit autopilot and do a automatic hover right here at this altitude and heading. So now my aircraft should just be in a nice stable hover. Should be in a nice stable hover. Definitely is not. Because it only kept the hover of the heading. I love it. Alright. There we go. So I can see the flare. But I cannot see the box. So let's go ahead and edit one more time. The move, and we're just going to put it directly in front of us a little bit here. Just on the edge of that. And it does not update it. So let's edit this one at a time in here. Let's say cargo bag. And we're going to put that next to it. Save the changes. Should see the smoke pop back up. There's the cargo bag. Alright, so we can see that. Very small, but at least it's there. So what we can do now is actually with our trim, let's see if we might be able to scooch. So it does not look like there's any hook underneath this aircraft, even though there is a hook underneath the aircraft. So the cargo hook, okay, so basically what I could do now is just say, all right, let's put an air conditioner on it. Ooh, you can feel the helicopter drop automatically. You can see it in the shadow that now I've got payload. So I'm not necessarily able to pick up what's on the ground, I don't think. if I just say remote hook, that's out there. So now I do have an empty hook. Alright. Let's get the altitude and hover off. Woo. Ooh. Man, it is squirrely when you can't see the horizon. I mean, I was close enough to have picked that up last time. I definitely wasn't stable over the top of it for very long, but... yeah. Inside the cockpit. Let's see here. There was an inactive button for the Bambi bucket. Everything on the cyclic is inactive. Beep trim on the collective. None of these buttons are active at all. So again, I believe that would be just another search. So yeah, this is more just like you're gonna pick up imaginary stuff and move it somewhere else, unless you want to dive a little bit deeper into it and, you know, like I just did, kind of put the objects down and do all of that, but not nearly as exciting as some of the search and rescue or the fire missions, that's for sure. Into mission editor. Now you can also see that mine have updates available on all of them. I haven't updated them in a very long time for a good reason, because it works right now. Street accidents, Bambi buckets, offshore. See, you can do the offshore stuff in the custom rescue. I think the custom rescue is probably the best one. So let's see if we can do another custom mission. We'll put a start location right where I am. We'll get a hospital landing site. I believe it is right there. And let's take this one up into the mountains just a bit. Actually, what I can do is just leave this here for now and go for a flight. This is another great thing about this too. So if you fly over a spot and you want to be like, oh, I want to create a mission there, you can literally just fly around the area for a while and be like, yep, that's where I want to put this mission. Challenge yourself to pull people out of different areas and whatnot. So we're gonna say that a worker has had an accident up here. She's dropping like a lead balloon, man. Small movements, young Padawan. Jesus. I think it was my first day in a helicopter. That was wild. Alright. I'm even in the cargo drop. Well, we'll get back to it. See, this is the good thing. You can actually create the mission first and then just bring it back up later. So let's create another rescue mission, and we're going to try to conduct this one with the hoist. So now let's go ahead and put an injured human basically right in front of us so we can see it. And Save the changes. And there they are, laying right on the ground, a little bit under a tree, not too bad. There's a good spot to hoist them down. You know, you got some aerial obstructions to look out for when you're there. I like it. What did we call it? So if we go back to edit, it just says Rusty Custom. So let's actually change the name of this to Tower Fall. There we go, just like that. All right, so now we can come out of this. Let's get back into our 145 search and rescue variant. I'm going to go into the Coast Guard version. Still waiting for Ace to come in, if he's not here already. And for this version, I like to go to the Bundeshwar and go to the livery and choose Coast Guard. This is the one that actually has the sliding stretcher animations out the back. And you can remove the ridiculous looking inflatables. Again to our airport. I think we're actually somewhere down here. Start mission. Oh man, I wonder if that's because you're going between beta and the released versions that you have sim crashes like that, but that's disheartening, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. To reinstall it. Absolutely brutal. Let's come into it. VMS. We can do a little maintenance. Maintenance actually looks really good. We can come into the hype center. Let's put this here for now and just go into maps. Connect. Since the same Tower Fall mission is open, I can just hit save changes on that. And that'll bring up that mission. You activated the optiscaler. Interesting. The optiscaler, is that something for the VR? It is just so easy to overspeed this aircraft. Especially since I am so used to flying the 125 right now. Alright, let's come this. I can see the survivor just underneath my foot pedal on the right. You can just barely see his face. And what we're going to do for this one is the autopilot and hover. So we're going to come in and get a GTC on, hopefully. Zoom this guy in as far as we can go. Off a frame gen, okay. So now that we're over the top of our survivor, we can bring this guy down. Not that one, we want this one. So right now we get our survivor going down. Actually get him out of the tree. Going down between the tree and the tower. He is on the ground. Got the hook coming back up. Check out what's going on the ground here. Well, there's a view. Not a bad little screenshot right there. Doing these hover missions, now you can see on the iPad that there is a little white dot that indicates your survivor. So if you want to go directly over the top of your survivor to pick them up from the inside of the cockpit, it makes it very easy. You don't have to worry about dragging them through the trees or anything like that. It's not that accurate. The hook is on its way back up. And this has been an issue with this for as long as I can remember. The proximity to the helicopter makes a difference when it comes to the people outside of the chopper, which doesn't make any sense to me, because if we can see the litter and our rescue swimmer all the way down at the ground, why can't we see the flight mech at the door? Perplexing. Door shut, good to go. Take the hover off. Bring it around. Close our iPad up. Get in some forward flight. I love that flexibility of it. You know, I can go very quickly from one mission set to another outside of career mode. It's truly an enjoyable aircraft. It is not free. It's not, you know, a free chopper. I have a link to the website where you can purchase this aircraft down below. I am not an affiliate. I'm not getting any kickbacks for it. It's just a product I have a lot of fun with. Said it before and I'll say it again, man. I will only support the things that I will use. I'm very curious to see what happens with the MH60 when that comes out. If it's going to have its own mission sets built into it, or if it's just going to be career mode capable, or both. I am extremely excited for the release of that helicopter. That is going to be probably my favorite bird. We'll see. Really concentrating on this landing, apparently. A little far back in the box, but I'll take it. See, the guy that's supposed to be there vanishes every once in a while, and then he just pops up. Nice, up and running already. That's a pretty quick reinstall time. Mike Golf would be the airport closest to me right now. I do not believe that the 2024 version will be available for Sega Master. Don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. I've only ever used this on PC. Thanks for watching, though, Daniel. Appreciate you coming in. It's a great skyline. There's Ace. What's going on, buddy? I got you. That took a minute. One thing about Panama is there are a ton of helipads laying around. Man, it's a little gusty. Not bad. It's got a great bridge out here too, man. Everybody that's been following my channel for a minute knows that I love going under bridges. Let's see here. I believe. There it is. This road right here has always confused me. Like, what a bizarre form of infrastructure. We want a road to get around the city, but we don't want to go through the city. And let's put it over the water. Yeah. As soon as it tried to pick up some of the vehicles on the road, it took a gigantic chunk of just VRAM right there. Okay, Mission Impossible style. Oh, it's not going to let you go all the way through. I made it most of the way. See, there's no way you could perform that maneuver in the 145. It just does not have the same maneuverability. And why we have cars under the bridge will always never cease to amaze me. Let's see if we actually touched something or if it will let us fly through. So I'm going to try to stay on the outside now and very carefully fly through the center of this thing. Nope. Great model, though. So within that beta testing, Ace, what kind of things are you finding improved over the first update? Are there a lot of things that are better? Or are there still things that are just minor and still not corrected? How has your experience been with it? I love these roundabouts on this road. This is bizarre. Why would there be a roundabout in the middle of this thing? Multiple times. The helicopters feel better and fly smoother. All right. Same to be said for the Chinook and the Sky Crane, because right now those two are sloppy. bet you that building looks a whole lot different in real. Head to head. The merge. Because that's possible in a helicopter, right? Especially at 125. Frame gen gives better frame rates now. I like to hear that. I do. I'm at 28 right now, which is honestly pretty disappointing. I mean, when I'm not streaming at the same time, I'm at about 50. This is one area of the world where I'd also like to see them start to put in more effort. I mean, this canal should be like a whole lot better than it is. I do have the live traffic off too, so I'm not going to see any boats or any ships or anything going through it too. You can see the ghost of a ship that was in here when the photogrammetry was taken. Tugs and all. Really good sized bridge coming up. Ooh, right on top of that water. See if we can get a shot of Ace coming through. Flight of the Valkyrie. Oh, dipping your skids in the water. I love it. Any difference with the wake turbulence at all? Have you noticed anything different with that? Of course, I'm doing that as you're skimming the water. I love it. It's a great time to ask a question, right? FMJ. Crack me up, bro. don't like the way it makes the trees interact with the shadows behind. How it makes everything white like that. It's very weird. It's like the anisotropic filtering or something. Tight squeeze. Water looks really weird today. Maybe it's just time of day. Just looks weird. Ace, I really hate to do this to you, man, but I am being summoned for family duty. I am going to have to bail on this one, my man. I really appreciate you being here. It's good flying with you again, dude. It has been a minute. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you very much there, FMJ. Normally I would keep the stream going, but like I said, man, lately things have been pretty hectic, and apparently we're going to get that started again right here. I hate to say it, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a blast. It's been a ball. For me, that's it. That's all. Great to see you guys. Once again, Ace, much appreciated. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon. It's been a ball.